New day, new video.
You can turn the...
Helping hand here. We've got Gravy and Uncle Roscoe here, and we're going to try and put the motor in the hole. Let's see how it goes. Now, motor's in, and this is the clearance issue that you have with the 4L60E. Is that right there just needs a bit of massaging on the tunnel. That's all it needs to do. Other than that,
Go up still.
it fits in pretty good. So I think we're going to drop the back of the trans, massage that, and see how we go. Okay, it has to come back out so we can massage the tunnel, and once the massaging's done, we'll put it back in and check it. Okay, this is what I'm up to regarding the clearancing for the transmission. Now, if you look down in that hole there, that's how close it is to the driver's side chassis rail. I have given it a few love taps to go in, but there's no point in going any further at this stage because I don't have a rear trans mount, and I don't know, there's no point taking the motor back out now without that, because I don't know what the final clearance is going to be. So that's in there. It's probably got 3 or 4 mil, and I'm guessing once I get the trans cross member that this is going to come this way a tad, and then I can see the clearance. So I can't really do anything until I get that. So I've ordered one of them. I'm waiting for that. No, I don't want to make one. I'm not that clever. I'd rather just get a proper one. Anyway, so that's what's happened there. I've just got the jack sitting up on the back of the box to keep it level. And the other clearance issue that belongs with this swap is it's still connected to the hoist, but engine mount bolts are actually in. Where are they? There's one there, and then there's one down there. But the other issue is the cast headers and VK steering box. Don't know if you can see it down there. And there's the box there, those 2 little weeping holes. Now the other issue is the outlet for the manifolds pretty much come out around that steering box. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get you guys in there to see how tight it actually is. Just bear with me a sec. Get that spark plug out of the way. See, there we go. Get that spark plug out of the way. Get out of the way, spark plug. Jeepers creepers. This is bullshit. Where are we at? There we go. So there's the box. There's the back of the manifold. Now, I am going to try and get that back of the original, I don't know if it's called a Y pipe or not, with the cat attached. I am going to see if I can get that to fit, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I've been fiddling around under here for quite a while now, and the exhaust clamp that connects the pipe up to the manifold just doesn't fit. Like, it's a couple mil shy of being able to go in there, so it looks like I'm going to have to drop the steering down a bit to be able to get that in. But the pipes and everything do go in. It's just that clamp is very bulky, and I cannot just squeeze it through the bottom of the rack and the steering box. It hits top of the steering box, and then on the oil pan where the bolts is, it's got like a bulge for where the bolt is, and that's what it's fouling on, and I just can't get it through. I don't want to force it in there, because once it's in, it ain't going to come out. So I want it to be able to come in and out on its own accord. So whether I drop the steering box down or take a couple of mil off the flange, that's what I need to decide what I want to do. So I'll update you when I have some progress. If you take the inspection cover off, you do get a lot more room to be able to get it in. This had to come off anyway, because when I was getting it out of the Statesman, it did get a bit beaten and battered, so I have to just make that a bit more flat. So had to come off anyway, but gives more room. Wow, I have an update on the whole exhaust issue. I was speaking to Gravy last night, and he said to me, "Do you still have the engine crane hooked up?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Why don't you just jack up the engine?" Jack up the engine. Good one, Gravy. How did I not think of that? So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll see if it fits, and I'll get back to you. Well, turns out, Gravy, you were right. Thank you, Gravy. Now, I thought the harder bolts were going to be the one behind the steering box, but no. It ended up being that end one right there. Can't get it from underneath, so I had to get it from top. Now, I've only got them finger tight in, but it's in. Let's have a look underneath. Now, I can't get that much of underneath the car because I don't have a hoist, but both sides are hand tight in. I think the only issue we're going to have is the cat. It doesn't, have its specific home, and it's right up on the floor there. So I don't know what. I'm going to do about that just yet. But I'll try and get some vision in of the said bolts into manifolds and stuff. So we go there. There's that one. That was the easy bolt. And then we've got that bastardo up there. He's the hard one, probably the hardest of them all. Now I'll just jump around to the other side. Sharp things under here. And all right, there is the other side bolted in. Now that one you can get to with a short extension on the socket, but the front one, if you come around this side of the K member or the K frame, and you can get onto the bolt that's hidden up in there somewhere. That one in there. Something's poking me in the head and it hurts. It's like wire in my head. Far out, man. Back up top again, and it turns out what was poking me in the head was one of those injector clips that I had to cut off on the 6-cylinder. That had poked its way into my noggin, and that didn't tickle, let me tell you. Anyway, exhaust manifold bolts in, engine mount bolts are back in. So again, big thank you to Gravy. Just jack the engine up a couple of pumps and that flange fits straight in. All right, still waiting for that trans cross member, but that shouldn't be too far away, and we'll get that in and see if we can straighten that up from that to about that. So I'll see you when that arrives. Wow, look what's arrived. My trans cross member. So what I'm going to do now is bolt up that rubber mount and see if the thing fits in. I've done a quick test fit there. Those holes line up each side of the rail, so that's good. This one is from V6 Conversions. So let's get that on that and see how it goes. Okay, first test fit, and the verdict is doesn't fit. I can get one side in, but the other side doesn't line up. It's probably 2 to 3 mil out, and the same with the center holes where the mount bolts onto the underneath the transmission. So probably going to have to widen those in there and stretch these ones out a bit at first assumption. I'm going to reposition the jack and see whether that makes a difference, because the jack is in the way a little bit, but I don't believe it is. I believe these holes to be not quite wide enough for my chassis rails, unless I've got extra wide ones. So that's where I'm at the moment, and I'll move that jack and do another test fit and see how it is. Okay, well, here I am underneath the car. I have repositioned the jack and tried refitting this trans cross member, and it still doesn't fit. Now I've got the center bolts in, and I've got 2 bolts over there. I don't know whether I've completely got it in the right way or not, but it doesn't seem to go any other way but this way. And if you look here, no holes line up with anything. It's too narrow, so the outside has to be widened, I'd say both sides, and I can't quite pull it across enough, so the hole in the middle there for those center mounts there, one of them has to be extended longer as well. So not a good fit for this. So I'm gonna have to take it back off and you know, widen those holes so it will fit in. And it looks as though I still need to do some massaging of the rail up in there, because it's still sitting on the chassis. So I'll mark that and give that a bit of a whacking as well. All right, let's get this out and go from there. Well, it turns out I am putting it on the right way, because if you look at the instructions here, that's the way that I'm trying to mount it in that photo there, so that's good. But looking at the actual piece here, that's where I'm going to have to widen the slots in that yellow texture area, and then on the back, that one slot there has to be machined out as well. Now, how am I going to machine that out? I don't have a die grinder. I don't know. That is something I need to work out. Will the speed file, the file sander go in there? Probably not. I'm not going to do it by hand. I'll have a look around and see what I can use. All right, new day. I took this cross member thing to work and got a bit of die grinder work while that works. So I've taken 2.5mm on that side, 2.5mm on that side, and then 5mm on that one in there, and hopefully it fits now. I'm going to test fit it on and let you know how I go. Well, it still doesn't fit. I can get the bolts on, or 3 of the bolts in. One side still needs to be oblonged out. When I get those bolts on, I can't get those bolts on. So they're about halfway. So I need to come down further in that radius there and there for it to be able to bolt on. This is turning out to be a bloody nightmare, this bloody thing, isn't it? But on another note, I've got another delivery today. I got a V8 Radiator. So I'm hoping this thing drops straight in that hole and doesn't give me any dramas like that piece of junk. Okay, I'm going to test fit that in and see how I go. Well, that went in. I won't say that it dropped in like a piece of cake, but it fits pretty well for a Chinese radiator, I can tell you that. Now this is a VK V8 radiator. I went for this one because, as most of the VK people will know, we need that bottom hose to be up, not located in that down position like that one, or else I would have used that radiator, but that's okay. Even these little rubber mounts that go on each side fit on and actually go in, and the 2 pins at the bottom line up and go in as well. So that's pretty darn good. Now, the other thing that I went for as well on a V8 radiator, I believe that top hose outlet, majority of them point up. And I found one that comes out straight like the original. So when we put the radiator hose on, it's just bang to bang, and then that bottom one there straight to the bottom of the water pump there. So the original, radiator hoses there. So not trying to find out any fandangle radiator hoses. They all should go in spot on, no dramas. Now this, even though this radiator is a Chinese version, it's meant to be the the air grade quality aluminium, which dissipates heat faster, blah 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 blah. I won't know that till the engine's running, but the damn thing fits. That's what I'm happy about. Now I've got to continue working out what I want to do with this piece of junk here. Well, would you look at that? It is in, finally. All 6 bolts are in, and bolts up. Thank goodness for that. But if you come along with me under here, I have managed to get about a 7 to 8 mil gap here between the pan and the frame rail, so that's not hitting, so that's good. It's nice and secured in. Should have just been bolt in, really. Has taken me 3 days of piss farting around and oblonging holes and all that kind of stuff to get it in, but it's in now. The motor's sitting in its final resting position, and I'm happy about that, I can tell you. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to leave this video now. Still got the crane on there. I'm not taking that off yet because this is just a mock-up. So engine is fully bolted in now, exhaust is in, trans cross members in. Next thing to do is the tail shaft, and that's what I'm going to do next, but that's going to be its own separate video, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Ciao ciao.